Quick learn photography, straight to the point videos that teach you everything that I've learned in professional photography for over the last 10 years. In this video, we're going to talk about sensor size, why it's important, and what you might want, what you might not want, what you don't need, what you need. And by the end of this video, you're going to know what it is and what it means. So the sensor is in each and every camera, even your mobile phone. Behind the lens, there's a sensor behind it, which is going to record the image. It's going to take the light, the colors, everything, and put it through to the processor. It's what all the pixels are. You've heard the phrase megapixels. All the pixels are on that sensor. That is what collects the light. So sensor size can play a big role in your photography, but sometimes the bigger the sensors, obviously, it's not necessarily needed. So let me just show you briefly. So look at these two cameras here. So they're pretty much similar looking in build and size and everything. This one is a full frame camera with a massive sensor, and this one is a crop sensor. So the sensor is still huge, but it's half the size of this one, okay? Okay, so I'm going to interrupt myself because I haven't shown you the sensor. So this is a full frame sensor. See the purple thing there? That's the full frame. And this is the crop sensor, and that's the sensor there, and it's half the size of that. So full frame is bigger. Even though the mount is the same, the crop sensor is smaller. And then the next camera I'm going to show you is this little thing, which has a 1-inch sensor. Now it's a fixed lens, so I can't take it off, but the sensor would be about half the size, if not less, than the crop sensor. And a micro four thirds would be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to be real scientific here and draw it. So if this is a full frame sensor, which is that one there, the crop sensor would be half the size, like that one. A micro four thirds would be even smaller than that one. And the little 1-inch sensor, the pocket rocket, would be like that, okay? So very basic. And then a mobile phone sensor would be like that. So there's my very basic, because I forgot to introduce a demonstration of sensor size. So that is the actual sensors. So I thought I'd show you on the Sony as well. There's a full frame sensor there, because you can see it even clearer on a mirrorless. The other two were DSLRs, but this one a little bit clearer. So that's the sensor in all its glory. Then if we go down to the next notch, we got this little pocket rocket here. So the sensor in this one is smaller than this one. This is the crop sensor. This is still a 1-inch sensor, so it's pretty good, it's pretty powerful. And the fact that this can fit in your pocket, the images from this little thing is phenomenal. Let's go to another one. This is a really, really old camera I bought about 20 years ago. It's a bridge camera, but it's bigger than that one, okay? So this one's bigger, so you'd think, well, this will be more powerful. It's not, because the sensor in this one is tiny compared to the sensor in this one. And in fact, most mobile phones now, like the one I use for bits and bobs, or I'm using now, the sensor is bigger than one of these bridge cameras, okay? Bridge cameras are good, but the sensors are a bit small, they're small on them, okay? So even this little thing has got a big sensor for what it is, but it's a progression. So you've got full frame sensors, crop sensor cameras, 1-inch sensors or micro four thirds, that's kind of in a similar bracket as another one, and then small little sensors when it comes to mobile phones. So why is it important? Why is it important to know about sensors? So mobile phones have a really, really tiny sensor. It's basically what's behind the lens, and they're great. They're great, but the bigger the sensor, the bigger the pixels, you know, like the megapixels. Sorry, I'm sweating buckets. It's an absolute heat wave at the moment, and this place is turning into a greenhouse. Excuse me sweating. It doesn't matter how many megapixels are on the sensor, it's the size of those pixels are huge, and the processor behind the sensor makes it more and more powerful. So I use full frame cameras a lot. The camera videoing me now is full frame, and it's an absolute monster. It really is. And this thing is a full frame, and another camera I've got is full frame. That's what I use. Do I need the capability of full frame all the time? No, I do not. I could easily get by with a crop sensor camera, which is half the size. I could easily get by and the images will look no different. So much so that in good conditions, even a little bit low light conditions, this little thing, the images are still amazing because the sensor is a lot bigger than a mobile phone. It's not as powerful as the other cameras, but in normal lighting conditions, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference at all. So it doesn't really matter with image quality so much, but the power output it does. So it's like cars. You could have a little mini car with a zippy little engine that's really nippy around town, and then you can have a great big powerful 200-mile-an-hour V12 monster. If you're just going to use it around town, there's not going to be much difference. But if you need to get to 200 miles an hour, then you're going to notice the difference in engine size. And it's the same with sensor size. The bigger the sensor, the more powerful it is when it comes to low light and dynamic range and ISO. So hopefully you've seen those videos. If you haven't, have a look there. That's when sensor size plays a key role. So that's why I use full frame sensors. Sometimes I can find myself perhaps at an event or whatever photography job I do, say like a wedding photographer, they find themselves in all kinds of weird and wonderful lighting situations where it can be quite dark. That's when you need a really powerful sensor. And even crop sensors are more than powerful when it comes to that kind of thing. Also with the editing, with dynamic range, if you don't know what that is, then check out the video on that, how much you can pull out of the image when it comes to editing, pulling out the shadows and the darkness or dropping down the highlights. The bigger the sensor, the more powerful that will be. So you might think, well, I'll get full frame then. Full frame can be quite expensive. It's more expensive than crop sensors. And the lenses with it as well. You have to get lenses that fit full frame cameras, so that can ratchet up a bit. If you get older cameras, like these sort of ones, DSLRs are really depreciated now. The image quality is no different from the latest, greatest cameras, but they're a lot cheaper, and they're really powerful. So maybe start with that if you want full frame. Crop sensors usually are good enough. They're still super powerful compared to like a mobile phone sensor or a bridge camera sensor or something like that. Crop sensor cameras are still massively powerful. So let's say you needed a really fast car and you think, I only need to go to 150 mile an hour. Why you would do that, I don't know. But you don't need to buy a Lamborghini or Ferrari that can do 200 miles an hour. You don't need that capability. So just get a smaller engine car that can do 150. And that's kind of like what a crop sensor is. It's still really powerful. If you need to go to that extreme with the more power sensor, then get full frame. If you can get by with things like micro four thirds, I haven't got a micro four third or a 1-inch sensor like this, holiday photos and stuff are amazing, and still what you can do is incredible. So that's sensor size, and I hope it helps, and it might save you a bit of money as well, because you might think, well, I need to get full frame to be professional and all that. You don't. You really don't. If you're doing like studio stuff or you're always photographing in reasonably bright conditions, you really don't need full frame. If you're going to edit and you're not going to be like pulling out the real details out of shadows, you don't need full frame. Crop sensors will be fine, and crop sensors are so cheap, and the lenses with them as well, compared to full frame. So I hope that helps with sensor size, what it means, and yeah, hope it helped.